It is up to all of us, whomever we may be, to call for a democratic awakening and to ensure that as many voters as possible turn out to vote. It is our collective duty.
For more, we're joined by our own Philip Turle. Philip, before we talk about the abstention rate, the matter at hand this Tuesday is deadline day for merging those lists of candidates. Any surprises?
Not really. I think that in France there's an old saying that after the first round, when the first round people vote with their hearts, and the second round they vote with their wallets. And I think this time round we're seeing a repetition of the way people vote in France and a coming together of the political parties which didn't do so well in the first round to keep out the extremes. The extreme being the National Rally of Marine Le Pen. In the past, of course, it was the National Front of Jean-Marie Le Pen. So these parties are coming together, be it on the left, the centre or the right, to join forces to try to keep out the National Rally of Marine Le Pen. What is surprising here, Francois, is that if you look back to 2015 and the last elections, after the first round, the National Rally was leading in 6 regions of France. This time round, they're only leading in one region, that is the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region, where you have such famous cities as Nice and Cannes. And their candidate, Thierry Mariani, is in the lead, but only very, very slightly against the outgoing candidate from the traditional Les Républicains right-wing party, Renaud Muselier, who's already received the support of Emmanuel Macron's the Republic on the March party. So it's going to be very hard for Marine Le Pen to win that region. So a big disappointment for Marine Le Pen in these regional
Why did she
elections.
Underperform?
Well, there are several reasons for this. I think that if you look at what the political analysts have been saying, the first thing is that when it comes to extremes in France, there's what's known as a glass ceiling. And all the way down the line, be it in the past of the National Front, and now we see for the National Rally of Marine Le Pen, there is a limit to how much support they can actually get, and to go beyond that limit to actually win the presidency, for example, or win regions of France. She's got very close to doing both, but hasn't managed to do it. Even her father got into the second round of the presidential elections back in 2002. But there is this glass ceiling. So it seems to be happening again this time round. There is something else as well. In the old days, when voting took place, people said if there's an abstention rate, that is going to favorise or act more favourably for the extremist movements. It hasn't worked this time round. Many people who would vote for the National Rally didn't come out and vote last weekend. There was this massive abstention rate of 66 to 68%, the highest in any election in French history. And that has affected support for the National Rally, whereas support for the traditional right was much more intact during this first round of voting. That's why they've done much better than the National Rally expected to do. And that's why they're calling for their voters to come out in the second round next weekend. And that is also something that has undermined the party of Emmanuel Macron, the French president, the LREM party, which did disastrously badly in these regional elections also last weekend.
Yeah, it's a new party. Just a reminder of viewers, the rules are if you have at least 10% in the first round, you can keep your slate of candidates to try to get into those regional assemblies that we're talking about. Why is his party keeping its candidates in so many of those regions?
I think that President Macron has said all the way down the line, well, I'm not getting involved in these regional elections, but everyone knows that behind the scenes he's been pulling the strings and deciding what's been going on and who's going to support who and what's going to happen. So this is a decision which is coming from up high within the presidential party, probably from President Macron himself. They want to show that they can still maybe win seats because there is a presidential election coming up next year in France, and Emmanuel Macron, there's no doubt about it, is going to run for a second mandate. There's also no doubt about it that Marine Le Pen has already declared that she's going to run in that election, would like to become president of France. So we're looking at the moment as though there could be another debate, another second round runoff between Emmanuel Macron on one side and Marine Le Pen on the other. What is interesting here, Francois, in these regional elections is that has all been shaken up. It looks like it will probably happen, but the Emmanuel Macron-Marine Le Pen duo is now sort of built on sand because a lot of the traditional parties are gaining back support, especially the right-wing Republican Party, which was formerly the party of President Nicolas Sarkozy, did rather well in these elections with 3 of their key candidates doing extremely well. And that, I think, has rattled a bit both Emmanuel Macron on one side and Marine Le Pen on the other.
All right, doing well so far. Second round coming up next Sunday. Full coverage will be right here on France 24. Philip Turle.